Hello everyone, this is Professor Kuehn. We've been going through Tom Van Dam and David Harriman's wonderful little book on the stars that provides a nice introduction to how to orient yourself with respect to the night sky. Over the past few lectures, we've talked about the 4 stories, as they call them, and those 4 stories can be used to identify constellations and their relative configurations. So far, we've met stars that are famous for being bright, like Sirius and Arcturus, and we've met stars that are famous for the distinct shapes that they create, like those of the Big Dipper and Sagittarius. Our next star that we're going to study is really well known for a very different reason. This star is not all that bright, nor does it belong to a constellation that is particularly fun or easy to pick out. Nonetheless, it just might be the most famous star of all. Most people have heard of the North Star, Polaris. This star isn't famous for its brightness or for its constellation, Ursa Minor. The North Star is interesting because of its unique position in the sky. Ursa Minor, the little bear, deserves attention only really because it contains the North Star. In this chapter, we're going to explore what makes the North Star so special. We've been looking at the constellations as though they are turning on a wheel, but actually they appear more as if they are turning on a giant sphere in the sky. Remember, this is how we talked about things when we were studying Stellarium, that wonderful software package. Now, every wheel needs an axle, and every turning sphere also needs an axis. The axis that our star sphere turns on goes through the north and the south poles. The stars that are far from the poles, like the ones forming Orion, travel in a relatively large circle. The stars that are closer to a pole, like those of the Big Dipper or Cassiopeia, these travel in a smaller circle. The star directly at the pole does not travel at all. It just pirouettes around in one place day and night. This exceptional star is called the North Star, or Polaris for pole star. The fact that the North Star does not move and that it marks the direction north makes it a very important star to know. Everyone should know how to find the North Star. We can use our guidepost constellations to easily find the North Star anytime. Before we look at how to find the North Star, we need to discuss a possible source of confusion that arises whenever we observe the night sky. The sky overhead appears to us as though we are inside of a giant globe, with the stars surrounding us on all sides. But we can't see all the stars at once, since we can only really look in one direction at a time. This complicates trying to grasp the whole sphere of stars at once. Now, we can compensate for this by thinking of the motion of the stars in a certain way. From one side it appears that the wheel turns clockwise, and from the other side it appears to turn counterclockwise. Let me explain this. When we look south to watch the sun or to watch Orion cross the sky, we can think of a wheel that turns clockwise, carrying the sun and stars from left to right, that is, from east to west. But when we look north to watch the Big Dipper or Cassiopeia, then we think of a wheel that turns counterclockwise, carrying the stars from right to left. This is still from east to west. Now, let's find the North Star. We have 4 ways to find it, one for each of the guideposts. The easiest way is to use the Big Dipper. The Big Dipper is ideal for finding Polaris. In fact, the 2 stars that form the lip of the Dipper are called the pointers because they point at the North Star. Polaris is famous for its location, not its brightness. It doesn't matter. It doesn't even make our list of brightest stars. It has a magnitude of 2, which is about the same as the stars of the Big Dipper. One of the things that makes Polaris easy to find is there are no other stars that are as bright anywhere near it. If you follow the pointer stars a distance of about the length of the Big Dipper, including the handle, you will find Polaris. Cassiopeia offers us another way to find the pole star. The W of Cassiopeia opens up toward Polaris. Cassiopeia is just about opposite the Big Dipper, as they both circle the pole, so when one is down, the other is up. This means you can find Polaris using either the Big Dipper or Cassiopeia almost any time. If Orion is dominating the sky when you happen to look, you can use him and his posse to find Polaris. Follow a line from Orion's brightest foot, Rigel, up through the bright star Capella in the Charioteer to find Polaris. Notice that Capella is about halfway between Rigel and Polaris. Cygnus, the swan, too, can show you the North Star. Follow a line from Altair in the Eagle up through the swan's wing, the one toward Vega. Polaris is a little farther from the swan than the swan is from the Eagle. The North Star Polaris is part of the constellation Ursa Minor, the Little Bear. It is better known as the Little Dipper. As the Big Dipper points at Polaris, the Little Dipper curls around to point back at the Big Dipper. Besides Polaris, there are only 2 stars in the Little Dipper that are somewhat bright, the 2 forming the lip of the bowl. So now you can locate the North Star from any of the guidepost constellations. The North Star is easiest to find from the Big Dipper, but Cassiopeia, Orion, and Cygnus can show us the way too. You saw how the North Star stays in one place, night and day, and lets the other constellations circle about it. Next, we're going to take a look at a few constellations you've probably heard about, even if you've never seen them before. These are the constellations of the zodiac.